Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in our lives when, to truly grow and thrive, we must make a difficult choice. We need to pull back, step back, and sometimes even ghost everyone. We live in a world where relationships and connections are essential, but there are seasons when solitude and self-reflection become our greatest tools. Let's talk about why distancing ourselves, even from the people we care about, can be the healthiest choice we make. Embracing solitude is not an easy choice, especially in a world that glorifies constant connection and social validation. Yet, solitude is not synonymous with loneliness or isolation. Instead, it is an active choice, a courageous act of self-love, and a pathway to personal growth. When we allow ourselves to be alone, we peel away the layers of influence and expectation that others have placed upon us, and in that quiet space, we can finally hear our own voice clearly. Solitude is where we face the unfiltered truth of who we are without the need to perform, please, or compare. It's where we learn to value our own thoughts and opinions without the cushion of outside validation. This process is deeply empowering. It gives us the chance to confront our doubts, our insecurities, and our fears head-on. In solitude, we stop searching for strength in others, and instead, we uncover a reservoir of resilience and wisdom that has been within us all along. When you embrace solitude, you redefine it as a powerful space for self-discovery. You come to realize that your worth is not contingent upon the company you keep or the relationships you maintain. Instead, it stems from a deep, intrinsic understanding of yourself. In these quiet moments, you gain clarity about what truly matters to you. You begin to see your passions, dreams, and even your pain in a new light. Solitude becomes a sanctuary where you can process your experiences, let go of what no longer serves you, and realign with your purpose. As you lean into this time alone, you build a relationship with yourself that is unshakable. You begin to trust your own decisions, listen to your intuition, and develop an unyielding sense of confidence. In this way, solitude becomes the foundation upon which you build an authentic life, one that reflects your true values, aspirations, and strengths. So let's not mistake solitude for weakness. It is a brave, bold choice to stand apart for a season, to nurture yourself, and to prepare for the life you're meant to lead. Embracing solitude is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself, a chance to reconnect, recharge, and step into your own power. And when you emerge from it, you do so stronger, more centered, and with a heart that knows its own worth. Taking time to identify what drains you and what restores you is not only a practice of self-awareness, but also an act of self-preservation. In a fast-paced world full of demands and distractions, it's easy to ignore the toll that certain people, places, and routines take on our well-being. But when we choose to acknowledge these influences and evaluate how they impact us, we reclaim our energy and redirect it toward the life we truly want to lead. Think of it like tuning into your inner battery. Each of us has a limited supply of mental, emotional, and physical energy each day, and understanding what depletes or replenishes that energy is key to living sustainably and healthily. By identifying what drains us, we become more mindful of the environments, interactions, and habits that exhaust us. This could be the constant notifications from your phone, the unspoken expectations from family members, or even the pressure to be constantly productive. These drains aren't always obvious. They often show up as subtle stressors that gradually wear us down until we feel overwhelmed or even burned out. When you begin to notice the energy drains in your life, it can be enlightening. You might realize that certain friendships, while comfortable, leave you feeling anxious or depleted, or that certain routines you thought were necessary are actually keeping you from being fully present. By identifying these drains, you give yourself permission to step back, to say no, and to create healthier boundaries that protect your well-being. Sometimes that might mean ghosting social media for a while or distancing yourself from people who only seem to add to your stress. It's a shift that allows you to prioritize yourself without apology. On the flip side, knowing what restores you is equally important. Restoration is about those moments, activities, and people that fill your cup. These are the things that make you feel more alive, grounded, and connected to yourself. Restoration could be as simple as a walk in nature, a conversation with a supportive friend, or time spent journaling. These moments help you recharge and refocus, and they remind you of what truly matters. They might seem small, but they have the power to transform your mindset, improve your resilience, and create a sense of balance that makes you feel whole. By actively seeking out what restores you, you build a lifestyle that doesn't just survive, but thrives. You make time for joy, for calm, and for the beauty that nourishes your spirit. And as you integrate these restorative practices into your life, you'll notice that your capacity to handle challenges grows. Restoration strengthens your resilience because it reminds you that no matter what drains you, you have the power to refuel. Ultimately, this practice of distinguishing what drains you from what restores you is an ongoing journey. It requires honesty and self-reflection, and it will likely evolve over time. However, it's one of the most empowering practices you can adopt. When you honor the things that bring you peace and avoid those that bring you distress, you create a life that aligns with your values, needs, and dreams. Learning to say no to what drains you and yes to what restores you is not selfish. It's a powerful commitment to live fully and intentionally. It's about conserving your energy for the things that truly matter and creating a life where you are deeply, meaningfully alive. Setting boundaries to protect your peace is an essential act of self-care and self-respect. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define where your needs and values begin and where the influence of others ends. Without boundaries, it's easy to become overwhelmed, overcommitted, and out of sync with our own priorities. When we establish healthy boundaries, we send a message to ourselves and to others that our well-being and peace of mind are priorities. Creating boundaries can feel uncomfortable at first, especially if you're used to putting others' needs before your own. You might worry about disappointing people or fear their reactions, but setting boundaries doesn't make you selfish or unkind. In fact, boundaries allow you to be present and engaged with the people you care about because you're not stretched thin or resentful. When you establish a clear line, it lets others know how they can support you and understand you better. It also gives them a model for how to honor their own needs. Boundaries are more than just saying no to people. They're about preserving your mental and emotional space. They might look like limiting your availability for work-related matters during your personal time or choosing not to engage in certain conversations that drain you. Perhaps it means declining invitations to gatherings that don't align with your values or making a conscious choice to avoid certain social media interactions. These are not acts of rejection, they're expressions of self-preservation. Boundaries help to create a buffer between you and the external pressures, allowing you to stay connected to what feels right for you. Setting boundaries also requires you to be in tune with your own needs. When you're clear about what brings you peace and what disrupts it, you can make more intentional choices about how you spend your time, whom you interact with, and what environments you engage in. Boundaries are a practice of self-reflection and self-awareness, helping you to understand what matters to you and how you want to experience your life. When you protect your peace through boundaries, you become more intentional with your energy. Instead of spreading yourself thin across demands and expectations, you allocate your resources, time, energy, and attention to the areas that truly serve you. This means focusing on relationships that uplift you, engaging in work that aligns with your values, and nurturing spaces that offer you a sense of calm. Boundaries are not about closing yourself off. They're about opening yourself up to the things that nourish and energize you rather than those that drain and deplete you. Boundaries also help to clarify your relationships, bringing a level of respect and mutual understanding into your interactions. People who value you will respect your boundaries because they understand that they're an essential part of who you are and what keeps you balanced. Those who push against your boundaries or disregard them provide valuable insight into where adjustments may be necessary. Boundaries create a sense of clarity, letting others know the terms under which you feel comfortable and safe. This can deepen your connections because it removes any underlying resentments or unspoken frustrations. Rediscovering the joy in being your own company is a profound journey into self-acceptance and contentment. We live in a world that often glorifies constant social interaction, where being alone can be seen as something to avoid or fix. But there is a beautiful richness in solitude, a chance to reconnect with yourself, to listen deeply to your own thoughts, and to enjoy the quiet space of simply being. When you embrace your own company, you let go of the need for external validation, and you begin to experience the peace and pleasure of simply being present with yourself. Learning to enjoy your own company allows you to tap into a well of creativity, curiosity, and self-discovery that may have been overlooked. You get to explore what genuinely interests you without the influence or opinions of others. Whether it's picking up a book you've been curious about, discovering a new hobby, or even just savoring a quiet cup of tea in the morning, these small moments become cherished rituals. Each moment of solitude becomes a canvas on which you can express your own needs and desires without the pressure of social expectations or judgment. In solitude, you can be fully yourself. There's no need to perform, no need to wear a mask or conform to anyone else's idea of who you should be. You get to ask yourself questions that go unanswered in the hustle and bustle of daily life. What makes you truly happy? What dreams have you put aside? What parts of yourself have you neglected? When you spend time alone, you give yourself permission to dig deeper and understand yourself on a more authentic level. You may find that you are far more resilient, imaginative, and resourceful than you realized. Being in your own company also nurtures self-compassion. When you're comfortable alone, you learn to accept your flaws, forgive your mistakes, and appreciate your uniqueness. Solitude becomes a space where you practice kindness toward yourself, where you replace self-criticism with self-understanding. In these moments, you begin to see yourself as a friend and ally rather than a critic, fostering a deeper sense of inner peace and self-love. You become more attuned to your own needs and begin to understand what brings you joy, what drains you, and what truly fulfills you. Rediscovering the joy of being alone also builds inner strength. You learn that you don't need others to complete you or validate you. You are whole and enough as you are. The more time you spend getting to know yourself, the more secure and grounded you become. You develop the confidence to walk your own path, make choices that reflect your true values, and live a life that resonates with who you genuinely are. This self-assurance carries over into all areas of life, allowing you to engage with others, not from a place of need, but from a place of abundance and authenticity. As you spend time with yourself, you also develop a greater appreciation for the beauty around you. When you're alone, you notice things that are often missed in the rush of life, the play of sunlight on leaves, the rhythm of your breath, the small details that add richness to your day. Solitude opens your eyes to the world in a way that helps you feel grounded and connected, even in the quietest of moments. You come to understand that life is full of wonder and that this wonder is something you can experience fully, even on your own. Refocusing on what matters most to you is a transformative practice of reconnecting with your deepest values and priorities. In our busy lives, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, getting swept up in distractions, obligations, and the expectations of others. But when you take the time to refocus, you bring your attention back to the things that genuinely fulfill you, allowing you to live more purposefully and meaningfully. This is a conscious shift, a moment where you pause, look within, and realign your actions with your core beliefs and aspirations. Refocusing starts with asking yourself powerful questions. What truly brings you joy? What makes you feel alive and fulfilled? What are the values that guide your life? By exploring these questions, you begin to strip away the noise and find clarity on what deserves your energy. Perhaps it's your family, your health, your creative passions, or a commitment to personal growth. Whatever it is, recognizing what matters most to you gives you a compass for navigating life's choices and challenges. It reminds you that while there may be countless demands on your time, not everything deserves your focus. As you refocus, you may find that certain pursuits or relationships no longer align with the path you want to walk. This can be difficult to accept, as it may involve letting go of activities, commitments, or even people that don't reflect your values. But releasing what no longer serves you creates space for the things that truly do. You can start to fill your life with intentions and actions that resonate deeply with who you are and who you want to become. This process of letting go isn't about rejecting the past. It's about choosing to live in a way that feels authentic and true to you. Refocusing also empowers you to set boundaries that protect what matters most. When you're clear about your priorities, it's easier to say no to distractions and unimportant obligations, knowing that each no allows you to say yes to what's meaningful. Instead of scattering your energy in 1,000 directions, you channel it toward what aligns with your purpose. This focused energy not only brings a sense of peace and fulfillment, but also increases your effectiveness in achieving your goals. You're no longer working against the grain, you're moving in harmony with what truly drives you. This renewed focus can also reinvigorate your sense of purpose. By centering your life around what matters, you find a greater sense of motivation and passion. You wake up with a sense of clarity, knowing that each action, each choice brings you closer to a life that reflects your values. Refocusing gives you the courage to pursue your goals unapologetically, even if they don't align with the expectations of others. It allows you to live with intention, making each day a reflection of what you hold most dear. Rediscovering what matters most to you also brings a profound sense of inner peace. Instead of feeling pulled in different directions or weighed down by what others think, you operate from a place of confidence and self-assurance. You realize that your life is yours to shape and that fulfillment doesn't come from chasing external achievements or approval. It comes from living in alignment with your true self, from nurturing the relationships and passions that bring you joy and meaning. This inner clarity allows you to move forward with grace, knowing that you're living according to what matters most to you. In a world filled with constant demands, distractions, and the noise of others' expectations, choosing to ghost everyone meaning to step back, reconnect, and refocus is not an act of avoidance, but of profound self-respect. When you embrace solitude, you come to understand yourself in ways that social interactions often mask. You find strength in standing alone, clarity in identifying what restores and drains you, and empowerment in setting boundaries that protect your peace. By rediscovering the joy of being in your own company, you open doors to deeper self-compassion, creativity, and inner calm. And most importantly, refocusing on what truly matters becomes a beacon that guides each step, aligning your life with your values and intentions. This journey may ask you to let go of familiar comforts or expectations, but what it offers in return is a life that is authentic and grounded. It's an invitation to live deliberately, to find meaning in the quiet, and to embrace a deep sense of fulfillment that arises from living in alignment with your true self. So take the time to reconnect with who you are and what you truly want. Give yourself the grace to prioritize your well-being, to rediscover joy in solitude, and to focus your energy on what matters most. In doing so, you'll not only protect your peace, you'll become the truest, fullest version of yourself.